Alright, so Presales just announced their big fancy world tour, hitting amphitheaters and arenas, and it's a nightmare straight out of Ticketmaster's playbook. This thing went off the rails before it even started. People are losing their minds over the prices, like, I'm talking $9,000 for tickets at Madison Square Garden. That's not a concert, that's a financial ass blaster.
Alright, so stupid imitation and jokes aside, Presales just announced probably their biggest tour ever, and Ticketmaster made sure to let you know that it's their biggest tour ever, right? They were like, we don't want you to forget, this is their biggest tour ever, okay? If you somehow don't know who Ticketmaster is pretty much the ticketing platform that runs every large venue in the US and in many other places. Pretty much, they force artists to use Ticketmaster to sell tickets for their concerts. Because Ticketmaster merged with Live Nation, I don't know how many years ago, a lot of concert venues have contracts with Ticketmaster as their ticketing platform. So this means that if an artist wants to perform at that venue, they have to use Ticketmaster first before they go to the third-party sellers, right? And before I continue, this isn't to hate on Pierce the Veil, okay? I love the band and I've seen them a million times live before, and literally ever since I was a kid, so no hate to them. Maybe a little bit of critique. Now, in the past, we've seen artists try to combat Ticketmaster, like The Cure, Oasis, and even Pearl Jam in the 90s. And it can solve some issues with their specific shows, but for the problem as like a whole, there really has been no solution. Even the government's tried to step in, and still nothing has come of it. Now, there is a lot of disagreement on whether artists have a say on pricing their tickets, and especially the fees. But according to Robert Smith from The Cure, all artists have the decision of turning on or off dynamic pricing for the concerts, and we'll come back to this later. Not only that, but they have the choice of making tickets non-transferable. And what this means is that you can only get rid of your ticket for what you paid for it, not for more. You'll recoup that money you paid for it if something comes up, but you can't, make 10 times the money. Meanwhile, you have other artists saying that unless you're a big band like The Cure or an artist like Taylor Swift, you have zero say in your ticket pricing. Only the artists truly know, and all of us can really just speculate. So unless you're involved firsthand in that, you really have no knowledge of it. So this is all speculation, okay? Now, according to Vic Fuentes' wife, Danielle Fuentes, on TikTok, only huge legacy artists have a say on this, and Pierce the Veil is not, at that level yet to have this leverage on Ticketmaster. This is according to her. Again, this is all speculation on my end, but I think having 3 days at the Kia Forum in LA will let you have at least a tiny bit of leverage on some things, but ultimately, I'm sure they don't have much say, but who knows? So now going back to this Pierce the Veil fiasco, a lot, and I want to say a lot of people are upset on how the sale of tickets for their new tour went down. So last week, as of this video being up at this point, Pierce the Veil announced a giant world tour, and pretty much the same day, or maybe the next day, I think it was the same day though, Citibank presale went up. If you don't know how these presales typically work, a certain amount of tickets usually get set aside for like a bank or some special credit card. And then there's like the artist presale where you need a special code to get in. Well, both of these you need a special code to get in, but they're both different codes. For the bank one, you typically need the bank card. Okay, so that's how that works. And I say typically for a reason that I'll get into in a second. Typically, I've been saying typically a lot. There are only a percentage of tickets that get placed in these pre-sales, and then the rest of the tickets get sold during the general sale of tickets, which for Pierce the Veil's case was Friday of the week that they announced the tour. So, Wednesday, Thursday, there was these 2 pre-sales, and then Friday was the general sale for everyone that doesn't have a code. All right, now here is where there's a bit of controversy, right? Pierce the Veil had a date at the Kia Forum a massive arena in California. They had one date, all right? I said 3 earlier, but originally there was 1. Okay, so a lot of people tried to get tickets and were met with a message on Ticketmaster saying there's no more tickets, all right? Tickets are all gone. And you would think, okay, you know, that means the amount of pre-sale tickets that they had available are all gone. I'll just get tickets on Friday with general sale, or maybe tomorrow with the artist pre-sale, right? This is with Citibank pre-sale. Nope. Pierce the Veil announced shortly after that they completely sold out the Kia Forum, and they added a second date. So that means that all tickets for that Kia Forum date were sold completely, 100% before they even went on sale to the general public, which is crazy, right? And then that second show that they announced quite literally sold out just a few hours later. And this is all before tickets were officially on sale to the general public. So a lot of people were angry with that, because how can 2 arena dates be sold before tickets are even officially up? Now that to me is insane, especially considering resale tickets were already being sold as soon as pre-sale was up. How Ticketmaster can get away with that is literally beyond me. It's super crazy to think about. Now, I don't want to take anything away from Pierce the Veil, since they are a band I've loved literally since I was like 11 years old. But selling out 2 Kia Forum dates in a couple of hours is literally beyond my comprehension of how big this band was. That literally means 35,000 people bought tickets within a couple of hours for 2 shows. And they added a 3rd show, so also keep that in mind. So that's 35,000 people plus however many they sell for the 3rd date, which as of recording this is still not sold out. But like I said, I'm not trying to hate on Pierce the Veil. I literally love Pierce the Veil, and I even got tickets myself to see them on this tour. So maybe I'm a bit of a hypocrite, but I do have a hunch that at these Kia Forum dates, there'll probably be a few empty seats here and there because tickets were taken by resellers, which is why all these tickets sold out. And if they can't sell those tickets, then there'll probably be a few empty seats. So, I mean, if you do want to go to one of these dates who weren't able to get tickets because of resellers, honestly, if you wait a little closer to the date, prices will probably start to drop down because these resellers start to panic that they won't be able to get rid of these tickets, so prices start to go down. But if they can't sell them, then that kind of sucks for everybody, fans of the band and these resellers, which I absolutely hate, by the way. Now, I mentioned dynamic pricing earlier, and if you do go check out tickets for that 3rd Kia Forum date, you'll see that a majority of the tickets available that aren't resale tickets are official platinum tickets. And this is just Ticketmaster's way of making price gouging seem semi-professional. No, they're official platinum tickets, all right? They're not just overly priced tickets. Now, official platinum tickets, as described by Ticketmaster themselves, are the most in-demand tickets, and they adjust over time according to supply and demand. And get this, these tickets are set by the artist and their teams, all right? This is according to Ticketmaster. Artists say this isn't entirely true, but that's really besides the point. It's the he said, she said type of thing. The entire concept of this just makes 0 sense to me, especially since Ticketmaster says that this is manual and is meant to make the most in-demand tickets in the house's prices closer to the full market value revealed in resale markets, right? Now, why this doesn't make sense to me is because now with most of the tickets sold out, how are the remaining tickets platinum tickets? How are they the most in-demand tickets? Are these not the least desired tickets if they're the only ones that are still left after everything is sold out? If anything, these should be ridiculously cheap, right? That's what dynamic pricing should do. It should make them way cheaper because they're not selling. So Ticketmaster, like, explain, what does this mean? Now, the last thing that I want to talk about, since I mentioned it earlier, is the way that pre-sale is done. And I assume that the artists do have at least some say over this. Pierce the Veil had 2 pre-sales, right? I mentioned this earlier. One through Citibank and one of their own, right? One thing I wish all artists did was have individual pre-sale codes instead of just like one massive pre-sale code that anyone can get to get in. Having one pre-sale code really incentivizes resellers to just hop on this concert and get their bots on it and use their 200 Ticketmaster accounts to just eat up all the tickets, because there's only one code, so you can just share that code with all your accounts. For example, I got tickets to see Oasis next year, and they had essentially, I say essentially, but you never know, a random lottery after answering a few questions about the band to get an individual pre-sale code. You had a chance of getting an individual pre-sale code, which I think is ultimately the right way to do it. Because yes, resellers can probably get this code, but there was also non-transferable tickets. So you could only sell it for the price that you paid for it. And there was a lot of other things that they put in place to just, you know, not incentivize resellers to hop on this. Now, another thing that I saw on TikTok regarding this Pierce the Veil pre-sale, which if it's on TikTok, I have to trust it, right? Was that during the Citibank pre-sale, a lot of people were able to get tickets without having to put in any code or without even having a Citibank card, which just defeats the whole purpose of the Citibank pre-sale. Some people didn't need the Citibank code, which is whatever because it was easy to find online. But then after that, you don't even need the Citibank card, which you always need. So a lot of things just don't make sense and were done pretty badly. And I think resellers and Ticketmaster are ultimately to blame. I don't know. A lot definitely went wrong with Pierce the Veil's biggest tour ever, which is really sad to see because, you know, this is their biggest tour ever and you would want everything to run smoothly because they're finally a band that's been in the scene for a minute and they're getting their chance finally. Now, I was able to get tickets for $80 and fees were $32, which is like 40% of the price of the ticket, which is honestly just straight up robbery if you ask me. 40% of the price of the ticket for a fee? Insane. So basically, like almost for every 2 tickets, it's almost an entire other ticket. So you want to buy a ticket for you and your friend? You're basically buying 3 tickets. That is crazy to think about. And this is all for a service fee. Like, what does that even mean? A service fee can mean anything. It's a ticket, a digital ticket. What? And I think that's so stupid because these fees usually are based on how much you pay for the ticket, right? So if you pay $1,000 for one ticket, it's gonna have a higher fee than if you paid $100 for your ticket, which how in the world does it cost more to produce a $1,000 ticket than it does a $100 ticket? The tickets are produced in the exact same way and then they're just digitally sent to you. So they literally cost the exact same price to produce. So the fee should be the exact same. Ticketmaster makes 0 sense, and how they're getting away with that is insane to me. And it's not just Ticketmaster. We've seen like Uber and I think Lyft probably does the same thing. So it sucks that these companies can really get away with that. But yeah, to sum it up, Ticketmaster sucks and resellers also suck. I hate both of them. I think resellers deserve a lot more hate than they currently get, and they get a lot of hate. So for me to say that, you know, that means a lot, right? They deserve a million times more hate than they already get. They even like calling themselves ticket brokers to make themselves seem a bit more professional, but in reality, they're just scumbags that take advantage of an already broken system. And I hope they all die. I don't know. Is that harsh? I don't know. But yeah, sorry for another like rambling rant that was probably super messy and horrible to hear. I just wanted to talk about this. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming very soon, hopefully before the end of the year. But yeah, that's it. Bye bye.